A motorcyclist's cruel prank on a blind man's loyal German Shepherd takes an unexpected turn when the dog reveals its K9 training, leading to a shocking and unforgettable outcome. It was a warm afternoon on a bustling city street. The sounds of car horns, distant chatter, and the occasional bark of a dog filled the air. Among the crowd, a blind man walked steadily with his German Shepherd guide dog, a loyal companion who navigated the chaos with precision. The bond between them was evident. The man's hand rested gently on the dog's harness, a silent trust that guided his every step. On the other side of the street, a motorcyclist leaned against his bike, revving the engine periodically to draw attention. His loud laughter echoed as he joked with a friend, his cocky demeanor radiating mischief. His gaze fixed on the man and his dog, and a sly grin crept across his face. "This will be hilarious," he muttered under his breath, striding toward them. He had no idea how his joke was about to unravel into something far beyond his expectations. The motorcyclist strode toward the blind man and his dog, his smirk widening as he gestured to his friend to watch. The German Shepherd, alert and composed, paused briefly, sensing the man's approach. The blind man, unaware of the brewing mischief, tightened his grip on the harness, trusting his loyal companion to guide him safely. "Hey, buddy, nice mutt you got there," the motorcyclist shouted, his tone dripping with mockery. The blind man turned his head slightly, confused but saying nothing. The dog, however, stood firm, its gaze fixed on the stranger. Without a second thought, the motorcyclist aimed a swift kick at the German Shepherd's side. The blow landed, and the dog let out a sharp yelp before taking a few steps back. The man let out a loud, obnoxious laugh, turning to his friend. "See that?" Harmless. The blind man froze, his face a mix of shock and pain. Around them, a few passers-by stopped, murmuring in disbelief. Phones were pulled out, cameras recording the unfolding scene. But amidst the chaos, the dog's reaction was anything but ordinary. Its body stiffened, its eyes locked on the motorcyclist, and a low, warning growl began to rumble deep in its chest. What happened next left everyone speechless. The German Shepherd's growl deepened, a sound that sent a chill down the motorcyclist's spine. The dog's demeanor shifted entirely. It was no longer just a guide dog, but a formidable figure exuding authority and precision. Its stance widened, muscles tensed, and its sharp, unblinking eyes locked onto the motorcyclist with a gaze that could pierce steel. The motorcyclist took an uneasy step back, his earlier bravado melting into nervous confusion. "Whoa, what's this mutt doing?" he stammered, trying to laugh it off, but his voice cracked. The blind man, his hands still on the harness, spoke calmly, though his voice carried an edge. "He's not just my guide. He's a K9 officer trained to protect and serve." His words were met with an audible gasp from the small crowd that had gathered. The dog let out a sharp, commanding bark, startling the motorcyclist and causing him to stumble. The crowd began to murmur, some cheering the dog on as it advanced a step toward the man who had struck it. The motorcyclist raised his hands defensively, his cocky demeanor now entirely replaced by fear. "I didn't mean it. It was just a joke," he stuttered, backing away. But the German Shepherd wasn't joking. It barked again, loud and precise, as if issuing an order to the motorcyclist to stay in place. The crowd, now recording every second, watched in awe as the dog circled him, ensuring he couldn't escape. The situation escalated when a new voice emerged from the crowd. "What's going on here?" It was a plainclothes police officer who had just arrived, drawn by the commotion. The plainclothes officer pushed through the crowd, his eyes narrowing as he took in the scene. The motorcyclist was cornered, visibly trembling, while the German Shepherd stood firm, its growl a low, continuous warning. The blind man, steadying himself with the harness, explained in a clear, measured tone, "This man kicked my dog. He thought it was funny." The officer's face hardened as murmurs of the crowd filled the air. "Is that true?" he asked the motorcyclist, who was now visibly sweating. "It was just a joke," the man blurted, his voice shaking. "I didn't know the dog was a K9, the officer finished, nodding toward the German Shepherd. "And a highly trained one at that." He crouched briefly, giving the dog a reassuring pat before standing and addressing the motorcyclist. "This isn't just about the dog. You attacked a service animal, a criminal offense," the motorcyclist stammered, but his excuses were drowned out by the crowd's cheers for the dog. A few people stepped forward, showing the officer the footage they had captured on their phones. As the officer cuffed the motorcyclist, the German Shepherd backed off, its duty done. "Good boy," the officer murmured, nodding in respect. The blind man reached down, stroking his dog's head. "Thank you, Scout," he whispered. The crowd erupted into applause as the motorcyclist was led away, humiliated and defeated. Justice had been served, and the loyal K9 stood tall as a hero. As the motorcyclist was taken away, the crowd began to disperse, but not without a few lingering glances at the remarkable German Shepherd. The blind man crouched down beside his loyal companion, running his hand over its head. "You're more than my guide. You're my protector," he said softly, his voice filled with gratitude. A young boy from the crowd approached timidly, his parents standing close by. "Is your dog a superhero?" he asked, his wide eyes full of awe. The blind man chuckled, his own eyes welling up. "In a way, yes. He's my hero every single day." The officer returned, giving the dog a respectful nod. "You've got a remarkable partner there," he said. The man smiled, his hand still resting on the harness. "He's more than a partner. He's family." As the sun began to set, the man and his dog walked away together, their bond stronger than ever, leaving behind a story of loyalty, courage, and justice that no one present would ever forget. This story is a powerful reminder that true strength lies in loyalty, courage, and respect. Service animals like K9s are more than companions. They're protectors with hearts full of bravery. Acts of cruelty often reveal one's character, but acts of loyalty, like Scouts, show the best of humanity and its closest allies.